Welcome in, everybody. I am not Patrick Mahomes, although I might sound like him tonight. We are going to do your Q&A, and we're going to start special tonight with a quick mock draft. I tried to do a mock draft live for you last night, and I just couldn't talk. So we will try it again tomorrow. I know you guys want to do these where we pick together. We'll start that tomorrow night. Everything not withholding, knock on wood. Tonight, we're going to go through it, and Dan's got something brand new to show you. This is Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. Welcome to RGR. If you don't know us, this is all about the Chiefs and the draft and the league. Like, sub, and hit the bell. Daniel, how you feeling?
You know, I'm feeling better. I had strep or tonsillitis at some point last week, from Tuesday to Saturday. Like that was the big thing for me. So I'm lucky I was able to get my videos done because I couldn't talk. I literally couldn't talk. It hurt far too much to be able to do that. And Ryan, funny enough, is not feeling well, but he comes in and leads the show because he doesn't know how to step back. So he's got to calm himself down just a little bit so that he doesn't burn himself out. If you guys can't tell, when we get into draft season, this is what happens. Our bodies shut down. I've gotten sick so much this year, more so than I ever have before. But like Ryan said, today we're going to start off with a quick mock draft. And I am unveiling the Draft Network's new mock draft machine. It's been gone for years, but it's finally back. And, you know, hopefully it doesn't crash, because that was one of the things that I have already dealt with going through this, is that it has crashed a couple of times. So I have it up. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I think we want to go with, where we got?
Let me go over.
Probably the small ones. Yeah, there we go. That works. That'll work. So this is how it looks. I think it looks pretty good in terms of the actual feel of it. You've got the picks up here on the scroller. Then you also have them down here, but you can see everything in round one. So what we're going to do, again, we're just going to go through this. There's going to be no trades. You can trade in this, just so you guys know, but you can do what you normally would do. You can trade, you can go back, you can go up. But this one for us, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to stick and pick and see how the values are. That's one of the things that this is going to be different from, in terms of what you guys normally see. So again, you can see all the picks in the first round here. And so we come down here to the best available on the board. And this is what you see. So,
okay,
you have different values, right? Because this is how every player is written up for the Draft Network, right? So it's not just the PFF stuff. This is the reports for the Draft Network. And one of the cool things about this is that you can just select report, and it will pull up their entire report that we have on that player right then and there. Everything size updated, all of that fun stuff gives you all the way down to the prospect projection, and then how many games that person watched on said player. So this is actually a really cool feature to be able to just kind of go in there and read up on players like this. So right here, I don't know about you, Ryan, I'm probably still in the board of defensive end, defensive tackle, offensive tackle. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I have to say, like, and if this does crash, I do have another version propped up and ready, because one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is everyone started freaking out. I don't know who did it, but someone in Chiefs Kingdom that somebody listens to started talking trash about, hey, don't trade up for a tackle. There's not enough good tackles in this league. Well, we've been telling you for about, 3 months, there's not enough good tackles in this draft class. There's 3 that have 3 first-round grades, 3 first-round grades on offensive tackles in my board. That's it. So if they're out, you got to shift gears. And so I actually think trading up for a defensive tackle is the way to go in this. I think that is higher than edge myself. So for me, it would be offensive tackle, defensive tackle, edge, wide receiver, corner. That's my order. What about you?
That's fair. I think the way we're looking at this right now, I wouldn't argue with that at all. But the way you're looking at this, it screams taking a defensive end in the first round. It screams it. You've got Nick Scorton, Donovan Izaraku, Mike Green, and Mykel Williams all here at the end of the first round, including James Pierce Jr., which I'm not as high on, but I know people are. I mean, again, we're seeing this as the main thing here. I feel like defensive end has to be the pick in this situation. How do you feel?
Mykel Williams in particular, a lot of people are down on him for some reason. I think that's wonderful because he is a Spags type guy, power based, but he can come around the edge and he gives you a little bit more juice in speed attack, right? He's not a speed end, but he can do a little bit of everything. I like him as a prospect. You guys know my history going back with Georgia prospects. They generally pan out, particularly on the defensive front. So I'm more than comfortable with that, especially because the guys that I would pick on both the tackle positions are gone. So this is a likely scenario in my mind.
That is the thing, right? You have to look at this the way it goes. And if you guys will take a look right here, every pick gets 1 minute. So you can always pause it. That's the one thing. If you're doing these on the Draft Network, you go ahead, hit the pause button so you don't get automatic pick. Every time you get a trade offer, it will pause the draft as well. So I agree with you. I think we just got to go ahead and take best player. And I think best player right there is Mykel Williams. And I think this speed, again, this is the one annoying thing about this, is that every time you get an offer, it does pause the draft. You have to go up there and you have to wait for it to get through. But probably looking at tackle, interior defensive line again and again, offer another trade, resume the draft. Please leave me alone.
Make me an offer. I like it.
All right. Now the Chiefs are on the board. They have an offer, but we don't have to worry about that. Looking at the tackles, this seems to me more like a third round group. You feel the same way? I don't think Wyatt Mullum is a second round player for the Chiefs specifically. Anthony Belton as well.
I have Cameron Williams above both of them, to tell you the truth.
That's fair.
And I agree with you. I would say he's probably a 60s player, but we are in the 60s, right? So, like, given where we are in the second, it's pretty much a third round pick. So I could live with it. If it were me, I might try to trade back and take the same player in 3 picks. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong about that. Like, I would probably do the same thing. What I found myself doing in this draft is picking Travion Henderson nearly every time at the end of the second round, because again, the Chiefs have a pick in like 3 or 4. So if you go over to defensive line, you've got Omar Norman-Lott sitting right here, which we know is a favorite. That we know the Chiefs have met with Joshua Farmer, Florida State defensive tackle, multiple times. That's another player there as well. And I mean, again, we talked about tackle that can be available in the 4th round. And plus Cameron Williams, when you talk about Cameron Williams, he's a right tackle, right? That's what I think you want to be able to project into the future. So if the Chiefs stay put and don't actually handle your draft a left tackle, it's a tough situation to be in. So where are you leaning right now? You want to go running back? You want to go interior defensive line? You want to go corner maybe?
Who's there? Trey Amos is still there. I mean, that's okay with me. So are it looks like all the locals. So like I would be comfortable either going with the offensive tackle. I personally would go Cam Williams myself, or going with one of the corner prospects. And if you feel like luxury pick, in my mind, running back is there in 3 picks, great. If not, I can wait.
All right, let's do something a little different. Let's go corner and then look at tackle after that, because I think, and of course, get me out of here. Oh, we're on the clock. All right. All right.
Everybody wants to do business, Daniel.
They always do. And I think this is a good spot for Cameron Williams. You can kind of project forward with that. And that's hopefully – do you think that you already have your left tackle? Again, if he gets better, and like the Chiefs are hoping, that way you can keep him in Kansas City. And then when you move on forward, going forward with right tackle, you have Cameron Williams there when Juwan Taylor is ready to move on, which the Chiefs seem to be ready pretty quickly, I would imagine, from that situation. So coming into the 31st pick here in the 3rd round, looking probably at running back, right? Running back or interior defensive line. Joshua Farmer is still there on the board. Another Spags and Joe Cullen defensive lineman. Jamari Caldwell's there as well. Aeneas Peebles is there. Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Like, there's some really good value here on the defensive side.
Talk to me about pass catcher, though. Because in the top 100, I think I want to get somebody to help Patrick in depth.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of what we're seeing right here in terms of 3rd round wide receivers. 4th round, absolutely. Like, this is where the sweet spot. I think these are all 4th round players. So if it were me and going offense, I'm looking at the running back position. You've got Dylan Sampson here, DJ Giddens, Jarquez Hunter, Devin Neal, Damian Martinez. Spoiler alert for you guys, Damian Martinez graded out to be my RB5 in this class. So I'm actually quite high on him. Oh, I didn't. Oh, there you go. You got Pat Bryant. See, that's the thing. You have to make sure it's paused. You have to make sure it's paused. So that's on me. That's my fault. And we'll probably,
for the record, I would have gone Giddens out of that group.
Yeah, that's fair. DJ Giddens is a much better pure runner than some of the other guys on that board, and that's not surprising at all. We got to pause the draft, right? Because we don't want that to happen again. Let's see. Where do you want to go with this one?
Show me again, pass catchers. I'm guessing all the tight ends are gone. I think we both like Ferguson okay as like fourth round tight end, but I'm guessing he's gone by now.
Yeah. We already have Pat Bryant again because of the ridiculous.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry. My fault.
Nonsense that happened there. So this is running back and back to interior defensive line here in the fourth round. Can the Chiefs drop off after this to the seventh round? So we got to make a kind of a strategic move here and look at probably a defensive tackle that's going to be able to come in and give you some of that. CJ West is that pass rushing kind of guy. Peebles can do a little bit of pass rush, but he's a big physical guy. So how you feeling?
Honestly, nobody really stirs the drink for me here.
Yeah.
So I would if I had to. Talk to me about linebacker depth.
Yeah, Nick Martin out of Oklahoma State and Danny Stutzman. These guys are more coverage-based players. I think Nick Martin has more ability to be a three-down backer than Stutzman does. Fourth round seems about right. You got Chris Paul Jr. I'm a big Cody Simon fan. Chandler Martin, I think, is getting a lot of buzz right now as someone that might be able to do more later. Again, this is a position where you draft, and 3 years from now, you're hoping to see the fruits of that labor. It's really hard for these guys to come in and be impact players. So that's what we're looking at for linebacker. Some decent interior guys. Again, back to running back. It's not the best situation for the Chiefs to be in this scenario.
Man, it really isn't. I don't know. Is there anything we haven't thought of? I don't think you need a safety here, although this would be the spot that I would start to look.
Nah, these guys are all, again, we're talking about box safeties.
Yeah.
Box safety. Not a ton of things here. I'm just gonna make it because we gotta get to questions here soon. We're gonna take people's, and then we're gonna sit here and go through the next 2 rounds and make 3 real quick picks. But you guys see how it functions, how it operates. It moves well. Specifically on my computer, not so much on my laptop for whatever reason. It does have a little bit of lag on my laptop. Still some bugs to figure out. But again, you can go over here. You hit team needs. It gives you everything that they believe is a team need, which, isn't always accurate. You can always see the picks that you've already selected. You can put players in queues, and you can also select all teams. You can go into select the team itself and see everything as well. So
do what William is saying, folks. We pick Giddens. We're going to ignore that Pat Bryant on the board. We took Giddens. Okay. We're happy with that.
Okay.
And while Scotty's here and we're waiting for that to tick down. So Karlaftis McDuffie, the 5th year debate. Who do you trust more, Dave Merritt to develop CBs or Veach to draft pass rushers if one leaves? It is clear if you're only extending one, it's McDuffie. But a 5th year on both is certainly applicable. You 5th year both of them because it's cheap. There's no reason. And you hope that George continues to grow. But George is a 1B or a 2, if you want to call him that. He still needs someone to drive the pass rush. And so for me, defensive tackle to rush inside next to him and next to Chirs Jones is the key to building this front so we can attack the pass more efficiently.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You have to be able to look at what you've already gotten out of these guys that returns. It's McDuffie. You have to just, he's not even just like a guy you want to have around. He's one of the best corners in football. So as much as you trust Dave Merritt to develop cornerbacks, I don't want to put that to chance, right? Yeah. You don't want to put that to chance. You want to have him on the board. So if we're going to go ahead and assume Giddens is the pick there instead of Pat Bryant, let's go ahead and look at wide receiver here. I don't think this is realistic. I don't think Tez Johnson's a 7th round player.
Agreed.
So we're going to take that out of the minds here. But another Oregon player that I think makes sense is Trayshawn Holden, a big X-type receiver that can play big slot. It can play all 3 positions for you. Do you have any thoughts on what you're seeing here from wide receiver? If you've seen any of these guys?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them, but honestly, in passing, my wife is a Husker fan, so I've seen Nair a lot. If you scroll down, I actually like Jimmy Horn as a late day 3 pick. So I know that his teammates are getting all the buzz, but I like Jimmy Horn, what he still has upside to be. So like on a day 3, but I'd probably wait till later myself. Look at the corner depth and let's see what we have there.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, got to pause again. My fault.
We do have Trey Amos already, so
thanks for reminding.
We can look at Tommy Hill. I like Tommy. I'm a Tommy fan, and Jason Marshall Jr. Bigger, longer corners, more physical. Robert Longerbeam has been kind of getting some buzz lately out of Rutgers, another physical kind of corner. Anything catching your eye here?
Well, I heard Longerbeam's name. I haven't seen his film yet, so
Yeah.
still working on that, folks. I am deep into the defensive tackles and the edges. I have not gotten to the DBs yet. I'm getting there, but no, I think this is just honestly at this point is straight best available if
Yeah.
you trust this board.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You got to make some decisions with that. So I'm going to go over the wide receivers. I still think I would probably have Jimmy Horn as closer to a fifth or fourth round grade, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and just take him here.
Cool.
I was a big fan of him coming into the year, and he didn't do anything outside of getting hurt. That really makes me that mad about drafting him here. So you take a wide receiver, a guy who's going to be a slot you and return man in the future if it doesn't end up working out with your guy, which we know we expect it to happen, right? We expect him to get better and to have all that figured out. But overall, you're just looking, let's make sure we pause that so we don't get auto drafted. Maybe some developmental players, not a ton on the board here. I haven't seen any of these guys. None of them.
I'll tell you this. I've obviously just because I watch KU. Cable Blue came in for a 30 visit with the Chiefs. And I do think there's some potential there. I think he's more of a UDFA, but where are we? We're at 222.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't matter if you see one trait you like in a guy here, you go.
That's fair. Completely fair. There's probably going to be some players here too, but I think overall, like you said, let's look at the board. Lots of wide receivers left. I like Jack Kaiser. Honestly,
I do too.
I'll be honest with you. I think just taking Jack Kaiser here makes a lot of sense because he can kind of fill that space player, former safety. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's a former safety for Notre Dame. I could be confusing him with some other players as well, which is part of the problem here, right? You figure if you figure out one player here, you go over there, and you see different things. So I like Jalen Connors as the last pick here. I'll be honest.
Go with it then. I haven't seen him.
I like him. All right.
Texas Tech is not on my board, Patrick. Sorry, buddy.
We're going to get through here, guys, but this is just the run through. It's fun to do these. Again, we always want to see what the boards look like, and with these, they're different values. So to round it all off, we start off with Michael Williams, went Trey Amos, Cameron Williams. This is not Pat Bryant. It's not. It's DJ Giddens out of Kansas State, Aeneas Peoples out of Virginia Tech, Jimmy Horn Jr., wide receiver at Colorado, Jack Kaiser, linebacker out of Notre Dame, and then Jalen Connors, tight end out of Texas Tech. Now, we went a little bit long on that. My apologies, but just one person. That's cool. Yeah. I don't want to be here, apparently. All right,
I may not be able to be here very long, so let's try it.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started with your questions. But you guys want to check it out, please go do that. Micah started off with the questions tonight. What should be the new strategy on kickoffs now that the touchbacks are spotted at the 35, which is crazy? Is the return specialist position extinct? No, I think that, this is what they're trying to do. Kickers aren't going to be they're not going to be kicking it out of the end zone anymore. They don't want to give the teams 35 yards to all the way to 30 yards. They don't want to do that. It's going to be about maximizing special teams, about maximizing your return guys. And they're probably going to be the idea is that this is going to be more of a return of the return man, right? They want to bring that back into football. Honestly, just go back to the way it used to be, and I think people would be fine. But here we are talking about it now because they've had to make so many changes to it. So I think the idea is that this continues to make it better and bring out more return guys.
Yeah, you hope so, because there's more of an opportunity this coming year than there was last year for somebody to make a difference that way. So do your best. Show something in camp. Show that you can be a difference maker, and let's see what happens.
Exactly. That's all that it is. I think they're trying to revive that, Micah. Blackbird Rising. Quick thoughts on the current guys reported to have had a top 30 quick terminology. It's not top 30. It's just 30. They're 30 visits. You get 30 visits, not the top 30. I don't know why. I mean, I've even said that myself. So just as nomenclature, it's just 30 visits because you only get 30 of them. They are not top 30. Visit with the Chiefs are scheduled to have ones. Anyone stand out? For me, the biggest thing is that there's a lot of tackles.
Yep,
a lot of them. A lot. Like every single first 5, 6, 7, 8 of them were all tackles. They are doing their homework on the tackle class. So I know we've talked about dropping down the board a little bit. In one of the mocks that I did on the TDN one, I traded with the Patriots, traded down in both the first and the second or the third round, and picked up a 5th round pick. Like, just a couple spots here just to pick up another pick, like to maybe get one of those tackles later in the, maybe earlier in the second round, and then try to figure some things out from there. But overall, I think the idea here is that the only thing that really stands out to me is that they're doing their homework on the tackle class.
Yeah, up, down, and sideways. An absolute ton of them. Previously mentioned Cable Dude from KU. Definitely a UDFA type. Pole, UDFA type. Belton's a day 3 dude. They had Ursery in as well. So, like, in my mocks, what I'm experimenting with is I want to go up and get elite D tackle, one of the big ones, right? So what else can I do? If I package it right, I can move up from 31 into the 20s, maybe the high 20s. I can also move up from 95 into the 70s or low 60s, right? And then for me, if I compress that and I still get through 3 top 100 picks, but they're all a little bit higher, then I have a better chance of getting a serviceable developmental tackle that isn't just a long shot, because most of the guys that they've had in are the equivalent to last year's Ethan Driscoll pick. Guys that have a trait that you want to build around, but you have to really bring them along.
Absolutely. And that's why the Chiefs are using their 30s on guys they don't know. Like, that's why you use them. You want to get more information. And the fact that they double down on a guy like Ursery is more interest. That's where you should be paying more attention to, because they've had opportunities to meet with him at the Senior Bowl and then the Combine. And if they have him in for a 30 visit as well, they want even more. So there's clear interest there. And if you guys haven't watched it, I already did a film review on our Ariante Ursery. It was the very first one that we talked about to begin the draft season. So one of my favorite tackles in the class, experience, starter. It makes sense why they'd be interested in him. So I'm not saying they're going to draft him, but there's clearly a lot of homework being done on this tackle class, because even though there's projection for their guy they brought in, Jalen Williams, we don't know.
Nope.
It's an unknown commodity. So,
and I'm gonna give you a little head up, because if you were unhappy with the last BYU tackle they brought in, they might bring in another one. Because as I understand, they spent a lot of time with Caleb Etienne, the guy who replaced Kingsley. He's a UDFA level player, but they do see upside there. So my guess is we're going to see at least 3 new tackles after this draft. I think 1 draft pick and 2 UDFAs at a minimum.
Throw some bodies at it. That's what they're about to do. Mike, thanks for another one, man. Expectations for Kelsey if he comes into camp 10 to 15 pounds lighter and in the best shape of his career. I can't wait for best shape of career season. It's my favorite. I just love it. And honestly, we've never had it with Travis Kelsey. This could be the first year we get best shape of his career at 35, 36 years old. Like, that's what I want to see. It's what should happen. Let's make no bones about it. I'm not saying Travis Kelsey's fat. He's not. He's never been fat. But it's clear he couldn't move as well last year. It's evident. So everything you can do to get a little bit of that back, he's going to do, in my opinion. I think you're going to see a more trimmed Travis Kelsey. And then next year, he's not going to be the guy. He shouldn't be anyway. He shouldn't be the guy. Tidbit of information for you guys. There is I know it's just take this with some context, okay? He is a real lawyer that does this every single offseason with cases. He goes and he does the work, does the studying. Drew Davenport works for Football Guys. He's a fantasy analyst, but he does real lawyering stuff. There is very little being done on the Rashee Rice case. No movement. None. There's been nothing. He is under the impression that he will, at least right now, play the entire 2025 season. Okay?
It's like the 2024 plan can actually happen.
I'm not saying he's not going to get suspended, but this was my point in saying we don't know. I haven't said anything about it because everyone's like, he's going to get suspended this, he's going to get... We don't know. And right now, literally nothing's happening. There's nothing going on. There's been no movement on the case. So whenever that does and eventually drop, it will drop. But there is probably more likelihood at this point, again, based off of what I was reading by Drew Davenport, who is a real lawyer, the more optimism that he plays in 2025, the entire season, than there was when the season ended. So the plan run through Rashee Rice. Travis can be this guy. Hollywood can be that one. Xavier can be that. That's the vision. Think about that going forward. And the expectations should be ancillary piece. 700 to 800 yards for Travis Kelce, but maybe some more explosives. That's, I think, what you want from him next year if he's coming in his best shape.
And then I think he goes off in the playoffs. It is all to get him through those last 3 games.
If he goes 600 and 700 yards, you live with that. You're happy with that, especially if the offense is putting up points. You want him healthy. You want him fresh. So I'm with you there. Jimmy, one of our very good members, thank you for being here. You guys really think that Walter Nolen has better tape than Derek Harmon? Guys, I just don't see that. I do. I don't think it's close, honestly. Specifically against the run. Harmon's just fine.
Yeah, he's
good at getting into gaps. Like that's the thing, is that Harmon is a gap shooter. Nolan's also a gap shooter, but he was also playing 0 tech and 1 tech, wherein he's a 3 tech.
The difference is one is occupying a gap and one is destroying it and going through. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, the other thing too is you see the number of clotheslines that Nolen gets where he's bent after because the guy's got an arm around his neck and he's still making forward progress. So I will give you guys a little hint. My rankings will come out on NFL33.com. You got to go get subbed to get them, but Nolen's going to be my number 2 DT.
I've gotten more so about the fact the Chiefs won't pick him because if he's a 3 tech, like he's a 3 tech. He can play 1 tech. He can, but he's even said, I was playing out of position last year. Like he was playing on. They had a 300. I'm not getting on my. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
It's okay. It's all right.
They're not getting me
now to play the 1. We're good.
They're not getting me next time. If Walter Nolen's in Kansas City, there's a good reason. But just take it with a grain of salt. He has been on 7 different football teams in the last 6 years, including high school. There is something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So that is a factor in this whole situation. I think I missed a question. You go ahead and you say your thoughts.
I agree with you. But I will say this, people call him a malcontent and unable to commit. He's gotten paid at every one of those schools as well.
Yeah.
The man made some money. When he is a professional, I do think that dedication will settle in because he will be challenged in that room. Chirs Jones is not letting you walk into his locker room and piss off. So there's no way around that. But I will say this, I hope that settles down because he does have the talent. And honestly, if he's a malcontent, they dealt with Marcus Peters for a couple of years. And he really paid off with him because his talent was real, just like Nolen's.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they're hoping for, too. They're hoping that maybe some of these teams don't want to take a chance on some of that. Just like some of these teams in the top 10 didn't want to risk it with Jalen Carter. Look how that turned out. Everyone is shaking their heads because the Eagles got Jalen Carter, and he's one of the best defense tackles of football already. Minotaur, what's going on, man? Did you happen to, never mind. I'll get you right after this. Am I the only one who will be kind of heartbroken if we don't come out of the draft with Devin Neal? I feel like his impact in this offense would be monumental. So the film review on Wednesday is Devin Neal. It's Devin Neal. I've given in and I will do it for you guys. I will. I'm not going to say anything right now, but just know that it's coming on Wednesday.
I like it. And it doesn't matter where he's drafted, but I would like that he was drafted. That's all I'll say.
And thank you so much, man, for the 5 gifted. As always, you're just one of the best out there. Thank you very much for being here, partaking in the questions, and then handing out some memberships, because that's what this is all about, growing the community so you guys can all be a part of this, and we love it. By the way, I'm going to get back into doing more of the rants. I felt really good after last week's or 2 weeks ago.
Good.
I don't know which one it was. And I'm happy that it went out. So we're going to get back to more of those, especially when the draft season is over. And I have some time on my hands. Thank you very much, Minotaur. Steven, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. How badly will we miss Justin Reed? His impact cannot be understated. No. That's a leader, emotional, vocal, physical. Like he's an embodiment of that. I don't know anything about some of the guys, the younger guys on the roster in terms of vocal leaders, emotional leaders, but they're in good hands. Like I do believe that Jaden Hicks is every bit of the hitter, probably better that Reed was. Yes. He's as not as intelligent yet in terms of football IQ, but he'll get there. He already was a very smart football player. And I mean, he's got juice.
Yeah.
He's got juice. He's going to
And the
deliver
secondary's
that
in
to the
very good
defense.
hands with Trent McDuffie. He's the dog.
Yeah.
He's the guy that runs that room.
It might become more of a let our play do the talking, because that still is very much what the Chiefs defense is. Nick Bolton is very soft-spoken. George Karlaftis is very soft-spoken. Trent McDuffie is very soft-spoken. They let their play do the talking. Jaden Hicks is going to let his play, and more importantly, his shoulder pads do the talking. He wants to level some guys. So they are going to miss him early on. You might see some communication stuff. Like, that's going to be in there. That's going to be a process growing. Mike Edwards is going to help that as well. Very smart football player, the veteran in that room now, and the guy that can hold it together playing free safety a little bit. He can do that for them. So I think that what we're seeing right now is that they want to be able to pick best player available, and Mike Edwards is not going to be a long-term player in this roster. Obviously, he was only here for a year before he was, cut and then moved on from, and now he's back. So all in all, they're going to have some growing pains, but I do think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Caroline, nice to see you. What's going on? What is the best use of picks, pick 133, 134, used to move back in the top 100, or I am always torn using it on running back, linebacker, cornerback, or best play available? Y'all rock. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And we love that you're here and that you're working over, at NFL 33. Very much appreciate that, Ocean. I can't wait to see what else you do with writing over there.
I'm going to ping you this week.
This is a tough one, because at the end of the day, there's 4 picks that you have before that, and you're trying to get those top 100 players in positions of need. So your 4th round pick almost becomes who's on the board that we really like? It was that's how it was last year with Jaden Hicks. He was there, and they said, we kind of have to just pick him because he's the best player available, and we'll make it work. That's kind of how they operate. At least to me, it feels like that's what their 4th round pick, their early 4th round picks are for. They find best player available and they just go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I would even like to see them try to package and move up a little bit higher with that and some of the lower picks. They don't have enough spots, honestly, to keep everybody they would draft. And they're going to bring in the UDFAs they really want anyway. So I say use them.
Exactly. Like, you can't always do it, right? You can't always keep everybody. It's just like running your own fantasy roster, right? If you guys play dynasty fantasy leagues, at the end of the league, it's all full up. But we have drafts coming up, right? You have drafts for that. You have all that stuff. So you have to make tough decisions. Obviously, it's not the same thing running a fantasy roster, a 99-man roster, and a 53-man roster. It's all different, but got to make some difficult decisions. Steve, thank you for being here, my man. Was there any interesting prospects at our local pro day? DJ Giddens, Devin Neal, a lot of the Kobe Bryants, the Mello Dodsons, those guys that are already going to be probably top 132 picks ish, maybe to some degree. Those guys were all there. I didn't see anybody that else really caught my eye.
The only one that stood out to me, now I got to check it again because I probably don't have the name right, but let's double check. Hold on. Come back to me in just a minute.
Yeah, no problem. I will save it right here. Caroline, again, what pick at 31, 63 or other would make you want to throw something? So I'm going to try and not let that happen again, because I almost have done this before. And while it did work out for the better, I was still right. So we're going to try to say whoever the Chiefs pick, we're going to make the best out of it. But, Ocean, for you, for everybody else, if there are picks that I don't like, you will find out in a members video that comes out after the draft. That's what we'll save that one for.
Yeah, I was waiting on that one. Okay, so back to the local pro day guys. The kid from Fort Hays State, Shane Watts, another running back. I had seen him, a friend of my daughter's plays volleyball at Fort Hays State. So I happened to have seen him, and hey, on a lark, why not? I like that concept. And I'm gonna be my KU guys here for you Tiger fans. Don't be too pissed off. But Luke Grimm has some real game to him. He can come up short, especially as a possession receiver. And I like Skinner, too, as a long shot to make somebody's practice squad, whether it's in Kansas City or not. So I like both those guys.
That's fair. All right. Thank you very much, Steve. And we go over to Steven. Is this draft more or less important to the 2021 draft after we lost the Super Bowl? Whew. If it's me, I think this is the most important draft that the Chiefs have had. And that's because we've already seen the problems at tackle. Hello. Mwah. Love you,
Oh,
sweetie.
she lose a tooth?
Oh, she's lost multiple. She's got a couple more loose. Yeah.
She's on fire.
Yeah. She's lost 3 teeth. Oh, she's got 3 loose. Sorry. 3 loose.
Even better. She about to get paid.
Oh, she's already the big ones, you know, the middle teeth are where it's at.
Nice.
All right. So the Chiefs were able to reset their defense in 2021. No, they were able to do that. This one is a readdress. They've never fixed the problem from the 2021 draft. Never fixed it. They said they never let it happen again. And here we are. They're in the same position. This is the most important because they have to get it right now. They have to. And that doesn't necessarily mean that drafting left tackle end all be all. That's not what that means. That means you figure out your plan. They didn't figure that plan out. They didn't do it because we've seen Orlando Brown. We've seen Donovan Smith, Wanya Morris, Kingsley Suamataia. Their plan didn't work. They have to have a real plan here. So if it is Kingsley, but you have Jalen Williams, okay, figure that out.
Yeah.
Who are you bringing somebody in? Is Kingsley going to be a guard? Is it right? Am I saying it right? Is it Jalen Williams?
Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore. Sorry. I've been saying Jalen Williams. I've been saying Jalen Williams like for the last, I don't know, a couple of times. So it's Jalen Moore. My apologies. At left tackle. If he's the future, okay, awesome. But you need depth. You still need depth. You still have to. There's no reason to not draft a tackle and hope to develop him because even if Moore is getting better, he's a 27-year-old that has never started a full season in the NFL ever.
Offensive tackle has now become wide receiver. They're going to draft one every single year, and you're just going to keep restocking.
Yeah,
because you have proven that you can fix the interior, and Kingsley might be the fix for the interior with Joe moving.
It might, absolutely.
So you just keep throwing it until it works.
Exactly. So for me, it's more important. The Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls after that, right? They won 2 of them, 2 out of 3 years. This one is to get them back in the conversation to sustain the dynasty success. Okay. They started the dynasty with that draft. It's time to restart those talks because people are saying this offensive line is going to get worse. This team is going to get worse. The defense is going to get worse. Okay. Well, it's time to rewrite that story, in my opinion.
I agree.
David, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Does Veach filling roster holes with vets mean he's aiming to use picks to trade up for a few better players? I mean, it could. It definitely could.
It means he can. If he feels like it, he needs to, he can.
This is the Brett Veach special. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure on day one, I can just sit back and if something floats by and I really like that, I can go get it. I can go get it. Hey, Trent McDuffie. Oh, I can go get him. Hey, someone falls in the first round like Josh Simmons. I can see him falling in the 20s. I can go get him. That's what this is. This is the Brett Veach. Hey, I can go get that guy if I want
just
to.
hunting with a shotgun is what he's doing. If it floats by and he wants it, mine.
Yeah. He's out at the range, man. He's just waiting. He's waiting. Appreciate that, David. Will, good to see you. Thank you for the question. What are the chances Amari Hampton lasts longer than the first round tackles? And would you take a top running back over a second string tackle? Would a top running back do more to protect Mahomes? That's a good question in terms of the first, if he's going to last past the first round. You can't really trust these mass things that say that we believe more than 2 running backs are going to go in the first round. But the idea is that there will be at least 3 running backs drafted in the first round come from a few weeks from now. Good Lord, it's coming in fast. And if he's on the board, there's a good chance that he'll be the best player on the board when the Chiefs draft if he's there. That is something to consider. But is he going to protect Patrick Mahomes more than a player that could develop into your starter at left tackle? Probably not. Can he add to the offense to take more off his plate? Absolutely. That's the idea for running back. It's not necessarily to protect Patrick. It's to take less or take more off of his plate so he doesn't have to do everything himself.
But the caveat always remains Andy Reid. You can have as much talent as you want at the running back position. If you won't use it, it isn't going to help as much. So it's always protection first in my mind, because that's the way Andy thinks.
I also think it has to be from now on. Each has to think protection first, because we said it. He screwed up already. He has screwed up the offensive line. So you have to have a little bit of an asterisk next to anything. If you have guys that are closely graded and say your running back is here, but you have a tackle right here, there's an asterisk that is going to do this. It's going to do this every single time, and it probably should, just to be able to do that. Appreciate you, Will. Napoleon and Rags, nice to see you around here on a Monday. My draft crush is Xavier Watts in Notre Dame, but he won't go to the Chiefs. Are there others who could play single high in this draft? Are the Chiefs even interested in those kind of players? I don't think Xavier Watts can play single high. I'll be honest with you. I did his report. He's best. Maybe he can give you some, but he's not a guy who I would trust to be patrolling the back end on his own. I think his best attributes are used in the box or as a floater in the middle of a defense, like Justin Reed was. Like, that's where you see him, his instincts, his ball skills. Like, he's very good at finding the football. You don't want to waste that on a middle third defender for 30 plus snaps a game. You don't want that. You want him patrolling and being a guy who is just a menace. Every time you throw the ball in the middle of the field, he's there. Like, that's what he's best at.
Yeah, I like him as a robber in the middle and comes screaming down the seam.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Exactly. I don't know if the Chiefs are interested in those kind of players, but the fact that the single high guys.
Oh, gotcha.
But the fact that they took Brian Cook and said, we're going to try to make you something you're not, suggests that they do have a need for said things. So there are some in this draft, but we've seen too high become such a thing that defenses in college football are even doing it. You don't see a ton of just pure single high safeties. That's why they're so rare. That's why Kyle Hamilton should have been drafted in the top 5 or the top 10 of that draft. But instead, he fell into the Baltimore Ravens' lap, because that's just how the damn draft works every year. So when you find players like that are just purely instinctual, that know how to play, you draft them. They're just becoming so much fewer and farther in between with these single high guys. Unfortunate. Thank you, Napoleon. David, who is a late round flyer pick each of you would make regardless of position or need? Favorite gem in the draft, or diamond in the rough, I think is what you're looking for. But gem in the rough. You got one off the top of your head, Ryan?
Yeah, the guy that always stands out to me, and again, because I've watched him live a number of times, I'm just a sucker for Ty Robinson, because I think he can do more than he's been asked to do to this point. You put him with Joe Cullen, I think he can be something. So he'd be the day 3 gem that I like.
So for me, it's Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver out of Arkansas, fifth-year player and formerly of the Division II school. But this is a guy that Andy Reid would love. He is going to do the dirty work. He's big. He's physical. He's a fantastic blocker. You don't take him off the field at all. He can play purely X. He can dunk on people, but you can also get a little bit out of him. I think he's got more nuance to him than Arkansas allowed him to really do. There's still some fine-tuning there. I'm a big fan of his game, and I think that we could probably see that type of skill set be honed and useful in Kansas City. That's who I've got. We're going to skip around here because we got some super chats for you. Dub Freak, nice to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, guys, hope you're both doing well. We're getting there. Ryan, hopefully it will be better. I'm trying. Ryan saw that you recently went on holiday to Portugal / Spain. If you ever go again, I'd recommend checking out Portimao
in the Algarve. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome, and I appreciate that. I could have used that a few weeks ago. I thank you, Dub Freak. My kids actually went there. We went, and I saw there was another question as to why we picked that, and I'll tell you that too, Nikki. My kids had an opportunity to go to Spain and Lower Portugal, Southern tour. It was an exchange student program, right? And I got a little pissed off and a little jealous. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking the wife to Spain. We're going. And I'm a fan of sports that I was never any good at it. So I've climbed Mount Rainier, I've climbed Mount Hood. I know a lot of guys that, have gone to Everest and tried and done all that kind of stuff. So like, I love that sport, right?
Yeah.
I can snowboard, but I can't surf for nothing. So the point of going to Portugal was going to Nazaré, where they get 60 to reportedly 100-foot waves. And this is the current mecca of pro surfing around the world. If it's not Bondi Beach in Australia, they're here. And this doesn't even do justice to it. You can see some people for scale on the rocks on the side. This is a picture that I took that day when I got there. This was like 18 to 22 footers. And that's what it looks like on the ocean there in Portugal. So that was the reason, Nikki. I wanted to go and I wanted to see it. We ended up doing some very cool stuff in Spain as well. And to the point where, for those of you who tried to get into my tech channel and everything that I tried and I never got very far, I'm going to turn that into a travel channel because I have a lot of cool stuff to share. Spain and Portugal, I will put out content. My wife's going to help. She's going to do some voiceover and stuff. I have a ton of food stuff that is going to go on to the craft channel. And we're going to revamp that. When it gets to summer, we'll start putting this stuff up because right now the draft is everything. But we're going to shift to travel and food and stuff to go with the beer, wine, and whiskey. So thank you guys for noticing and caring. And I will tell you, I put up that little thing and he wouldn't get on camera with me. But literally, I check into the hotel in Lisboa. They say that's what they call Lisbon when you're there. And I have a little Chiefs shirt on, just little arrowhead. And the guy at the concierge desk immediately said, "I love Patrick Mahomes." And he upgraded our suite.
That's
so
awesome.
It was just
insane.
like Chiefs fan instantly. So Diogo, if you're out there, I hope you watch this. Cheers and thank you, buddy.
That is awesome. Thank you very much for the 4 months, Nikki, and the interest in Ryan's trip. As always, getting out there is going to be a lot of fun. Seeing Chiefs fans everywhere is so crazy. Dub Freak, thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate you. Blessed be our founding fathers. Thank you for the 2. Connerly, Egbuka, Martinez, Restrepo, Shiloh Sanders. I was with you up until Shiloh Sanders. That is an undraftable player I want no part of.
Yeah, I agree.
None. No football IQ. Does no idea what he's doing.
And correct me on Martinez. I'm not sure. I'm not putting the first name together.
Damian Martinez, I would imagine.
Damian. Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm not the biggest Connerly fan in the world, but I understand the vision, right?
Yeah.
The vision is that he could be a legitimate tackle because he's got the athletic tools to be that in Kansas City's offense. The power stuff needs to come with time. But again, the vision I understand. But again, Restrepo, just slot dog. Not going to drop the football. He's what everyone thought Sky Moore was going to be coming out.
Ouch. And you can get him in the 5th round now. It's amazing what a 4.8 40 will do for you.
Ran a 4.8 and everyone's like, yeah, this guy's undraftable. But thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Daryl, I saw you in here. I know you said the talk to text sucks. Sorry for that. If we can't get our guy in the first round, should we trade back for more picks in the top 100? If you can, absolutely. Especially if someone's trying to come up and get a quarterback. I think that there might be a team that tries to do that. But again, we don't know. It's all guesswork. And I'm hoping that these teams learned their lessons, much like we saw them do with the Kenny Pickett draft and the Malik Willis. Everyone just kind of stayed off of that except for the Steelers. But if you guys, Pittsburgh, want to trade back up into the first round, take Jackson Dart, please come take 31. We'll get some of these picks and we'll let you do that for you. But thank you so much for the 44 months, Daryl. Thank you. Incredible. One of our original members and supporters. Love the support, man. Appreciate you. Hope the talk to text works out better for you in the future. All right, Bradley. So the draft is 3 weeks away. And my question is to both of you is, if we stay at 31, who would you pick? Off the top of your head, Ryan, just shoot it. Don't give an explanation. One guy that you're going to draft.
One guy that I'm going to draft. I think he might be there. I really don't know. But if it falls out and people start degrading the rest of the process. I like Banks, the tackle from Texas. I don't know if he'll fall that far. I get mixed opinions everywhere, but I do think he has the requisite traits that can perform in this offense if, again, he develops. There's no sure thing in this draft, even Campbell, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You have to develop everyone in some way.
That's the thing, right? You have to take players that are going to hopefully fit in your scheme, your system. And at the end of the day, if they develop into more than what you think, that's exactly what you want. So for me, at 31, I'm taking Josh Simmons. Like, that's what I want. I think that he'll be there. I don't think teams are going to want to draft him based off of, 5 games.
Injury.
And the injury. 5 games in the injury. I watched all those 5 games. I'm telling you right now, he's him. Yeah. I fully believe it. So I'm more willing to say that because I don't work in the NFL, and I can. Granted, I've seen people that do apparently work in the NFL and don't know what they're talking about. So that's always fun to see. Yeah, that's why I give you Bradley. That's why I give you. You guys want to check out who Josh Simmons is, Ohio State left tackle? Go watch the film review that I did a few weeks ago on said player.
And I'm going to put my tackle ratings out on NFL 33 as well. I'll give you my top 5 or 10 or whatever. So you'll be interested to see that list.
Lucas, what are your thoughts on Ole Miss defensive lineman Ivy, Nolen, and I can't pronounce his last name. Pegues, I think is how you say it. Pegues. You might be right. I don't know. I actually really like Pegues. Like, I really like him. I'm a big fan. I gave him a 3rd round grade because he's playing out of position.
Right.
This is why I can't stand Ole Miss defense. I'm going to do it now because thank you, Lucas. You're giving me a platform for my insanity. I can't stand what they're doing because you have this guy who's 330 pounds playing on the edge. He's playing on the edge, like 10 snaps a game. He's playing 3 tech. Fine. But why is he not playing 1? Why is Walter Nolen playing 1? Why are we not flipped here? Why are we doing this? Why is Jaden Ivey playing 4I? Why?
And it makes it hard to project because neither of them made me go, I know he can go in and do this. Like, I think he can, but I don't know because I didn't get to see it enough.
Pegues scored 7 rushing touchdowns last year, by the way. He is the Dontari Poe replacement. That's who he is. He's a Dontari Poe guy. So that's why I'm like, I want him in Kansas City. I want to throw touchdowns to him. He catches the football. He actually moves well in space. He can play a lot of different things. But Ivy is he's a very good football player. He's a bad athlete.
Yeah.
You got to trust the tape on that. Like, you have to trust the tape that he's a good player. I think he's a good player, but I don't see a ton of the athleticism on tape either, which does make it scary.
It's hard to make that jump to the NFL because everybody's a good player in the NFL.
Thank you very much, Lucas, for letting me go off on a tangent, as you know I do. Bradley, what's going on? Again, another question. So, Ryan, what type of will linebacker in this draft in the Spags defense would you pass, cover, and be a run stopper? And who has the athleticism? And is there another Derek Johnson in this draft?
Sadly, there is not a Derek Johnson in this draft that has the combination of length, size, and speed. There are guys that can cover, certainly. Trying to think of the guys that come to mind. Bossa is one of them. I actually think Kaiser can do a decent job. I'm trying to pull up my list here real quick. But I will say this. It's no one here is athletically like out in left field. There's no Willie Gaze in this draft. There's no Isaiah Simmons in this draft at the linebacker position. There's some good scores, but there's nobody that's just like over the top. You got to go get him. He's the athletic answer. So I think what you do is you try to put that into combination. Do you get a guy that can play on 1st and 2nd down and have a true coverage backer? That's what I would do. I would put that guy into the Sorensen role. So that's why I'm a little more open to like a small linebacker or a big safety that can actually be proven to cover, like Xavier Watts. Like, if they got stuck in the 1st round and they had to, I could live with it. You know what I mean? Because that fills a role that we know Steve Spagnuolo will use. Yeah,
and you're not going to find someone, I think, that's going to do all those things. I think, Chris, you're not necessarily wrong. I like Barrett. A little bit of projection there too. We're trying to figure out who these guys can be. I think Barrett has the best shot of maybe being a true 3-down linebacker. There's a couple of them in this class too that give you some of that. Chris Paul is going to be a decent will. He's got really short arms. We're talking 29-inch arms. That's rough. going to be a problem for tackling in the NFL. So there's a couple of options there, but overall, it's just you have a couple of guys at the top that are pretty good linebackers, but you're projecting in 3 years they're going to be guys that can be 3 down guys. Like that's what this is. We are going to hit some speed round here so we can get you guys out of here on time and save Ryan's voice. We already did that one. My apologies, Bradley. So thank you for that. We got another one here. Is this just a comment statement from you? People in the media criticize Kingsley and he can't play left guard. But if you look at his draft stock coming out, he can play both positions at left tackle, left guard, and you believe in the kid. I think we all should believe in young talent development. That's the thing. You can't just give up on players after 1 year. If that's how this worked, the NFL wouldn't exist. It'd be over. It would be done over. There'd be no such thing. You do have to believe in talent. I think after 3 years, sure. Okay. Not working out. Okay. But if you don't get the opportunity, you have to also project a little bit of that. I don't think Kingsley got a fair shake, but overall, we're going to find out in the next couple of years if he's going to be a guard or a tackle or if he's going to play in the league. Got to have some belief in the kid. Have you watched any of this guy, by the way, John, Ryan? What do you guys think about Nate Noel? Nate Noel, yeah, out of he's Missouri, formerly of Appalachian State.
Oh, no, I have not seen him.
Yeah, so I don't think he has NFL pull-away speed. I didn't really see that watching his tape. I've watched a little bit of him, but I do think he's more of a UDFA. I don't think he's getting drafted at all. Just not really a guy who's going to do anything outside of maybe one thing. And if outside zone is his one thing, it's not enough speed to really be a useful thing. And when you're unable to really do stuff like even Devin Neal, when you're watching Devin Neal, like the vision, the patience are all there. So like I don't think Noel has that personally, but that's my own opinion. Who knows? Maybe he gets drafted by the 49ers and he's awesome because that's what they do. Jordan, could you guys see the Chiefs taking a developmental quarterback in the draft and the revolving door of the journeyman free agent quarterbacks every year?
Possibly. This year it's hard to do because you have that giant gap down to the 7th round. And I mean, there are some UDFA guys. I mean, let's be real. Dylan Gabriel's probably on my board. He's probably a high day 3 guy. Will Rogers isn't a whole lot different. He'll be a UDFA. You put him in the right air raid based offense, they can do some things. So it never hurts, but I don't think you have to draft them. I think you can do the UDFA thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Whoa, my internet. There we go. All right, we're good.
Does it talk back to you?
It was. It did. It just told me we're good. Of Jamar Caldwell from Oregon. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. Just one of my favorite guys. I love him. I think he's pound for pound going to be better in the NFL what he does than his teammate Derek Harmon. I like Jeremy Caldwell in the 3rd round a lot. I think he gives you a guy who is immovable, gapping at the one tech, but also effort. 330 pounds shouldn't move the way he moves. He's very good moving, and I'm a big fan of him. Have you seen any of him at all?
Yeah, I have some notes on him. I haven't done the full one, but obviously when you're watching Harmon, you're going to see him, and I agree with you. He showed some really good traits. He's going to be on the backside of my DL list because I need to get the big top 100s done.
That is always the problem here. Perry, opinion on Dante Thornton from Tennessee. Feels like a good 4 to 6 round guy with high development traits. That's exactly where I have him in the 4th round, high development type player. Played at Oregon and Tennessee, two teams that don't develop wide receivers. Big, fast, has some nuanced traits to him. He's got big hands. He's got that long speed. I think he's a guy that would make a lot of sense for Kansas City if you want to get an X receiver, but also someone who can play all 3 positions because he has those in his ability as well. Emmanuel, who are your top 3 at 31? I don't know if I have 3 right now. Do you?
It's tough. And mocks are all over the place. So I will tell you, I have a couple at each position, right? So Banks and Simmons at the tackle spots, I think they could be there. Nolen is clearly worth the pick for me. I would trade up to get him. But some people think that because of the off-the-field stuff that he'll fall into the 30s. Okay, fine. Certainly he's there. Ibuka, you can put him into this offense tomorrow, and it will run. So I don't think there's any way he lasts that far. But again, people get finicky. With Ted up top, who knows what happens with Golden? Like there are scenarios, right? So I would look at him as well. And Amos, I like getting a high-end corner whenever you can get a high-end corner.
Yeah, I think that there's no reason he shouldn't be a first-round pick in my mind. I like Amos a lot. Josh Simmons is number 1. Aaron Taylor is number 2. And then you can probably kind of slash Walter Nolen or Kenneth Grant if they're there in the first round as well. Like those, that's how it folds for me.
Grant's like a dancing polar bear. It's crazy.
I know.
He's bigger than a grizzly. It's nuts when I watch his feet, dude.
There's a development there as well, but like he's got the tools to be successful, and I'm a big fan of him. Chris, thank you for the 10 spot, man. Omari and Hampton in the first round. Devontae Walker. No. I'm thinking
Walker.
Are you thinking the guy out of Central Arkansas? David Walker? Jaden Higgins, and then
Latham in the 4th.
Lathan in the 4th. I don't hate this. I don't think you should, but you never know with the draft. I like Omari and Hampton. If he was the first round pick, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Really?
Walker, I think that's a bit high if we're talking about the same player. Okay, you're thinking about the Deion Walker. Got it.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. I understand. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. But everything else here, I like a lot. Higgins is fun in the 3rd, and I love Lathan Ransom. So thank you very much for the super chat, and hopefully Walker can get his stuff figured out. Hopefully, because
we'll see.
I don't wish anything bad on anybody. I don't. Thoughts on Jack Jones? I was surprised he was cut just to save $3 million. He didn't have the best year for the Raiders last year as well. Like maybe he's just not a defensive fit. And also you have to remember that Pete Carroll is now in Las Vegas. So if he's not a scheme fit to what he wants to run, doesn't matter. He's going to get him out of there.
And there's only one thing, he's gone through so many defense coordinators, it ends up being the same anyway. So if you don't want to play cover 3 and be bailed all the time, if you can't help and put your hands on, you're probably not the greatest fit.
Exactly. I think he's a good player. If you can get him in Kansas City to be your nickel permanently, sure, I'm in. Cheap deal, I'm in. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on the player that he is, but I think that would make sense in Kansas City. Anyway, Micah, why have the Chiefs in the Mahomes era gotten off to so many slow starts in which they get down 7+ points? How can they improve? That's a loaded question, Micah. That seems like a deep dive kind of question that I haven't had time to do at the moment. But I will say the Chiefs are one of the best teams at scoring with their first possession in the NFL over the last few seasons. They have been the best in scoring field goals, touchdowns. They're better in the second half. They're a second half football team. They take those things that they do in the first half, they learn from them, and they execute it in the second half. Does it always work out? No, it doesn't. But that's what they do. Andy Reid is a very adjustment-based coach. Steve Spagnuolo is a very adjustment-based coach. Unless you come out with a game plan that is perfect and it's exactly what you think is going to happen, you fall behind a little bit. And I think that the Chiefs also play a little lazy in the first half football games. I'll be honest.
I see what you're saying. I don't know that I would call it lazy. I would call it hungover. Because when you're going to championships and AFC championships all the time, those extra games over and over and over. No, you cannot flash me. My wife is about to walk in the room, folks. Be nice. When you have that volume of extra games, easy. I'll be there in a minute. It weighs on the next season. Even though you go to training camp and you have that time for warm-up, like when it's time to actually get to the regular season, we got to go do this now. Like you're still have a little bit of fatigue. And for the veterans in particular, they've done the thing back to back, like the last 5 seasons. It weighs on you. And I think it's more about that than anything. So it's maybe a lack of motivation. You know what I mean? Like maybe we're going to figure this out anyway.
It does feel like they're just like, whatever, we can get away with it. Like, and that's the kind of mentality that I don't like. I don't like it. Maybe that's something we deep dive, Micah. But overall, we don't have the real answers for you because we're not in the building. But we can kind of look at some of this, maybe some of the formations and things that play execution-wise, and maybe give them a little bit more insight as to why that's the case. This has been a common trope, Joe, not just you. Wasn't CAH drafted high because Mahomes wanted him on the team? No. Andy Reid, Brett Veach loved him. They said, hey, what do you think about this guy? He said, yeah, I like him. And they said, cool, we're going to draft him regardless of whether you like him or not. But it's cool that you like him. Like that. It's cool. Like, that's awesome.
Yay. and for all of you that are like, hey, give me a Marin Hampton in the first, I'm just going to tell you, never a first round running back ever again. Never, ever, 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 ever.
I'm okay with it.
Unless you're the Raiders. Go ahead, Raiders.
That's fine. Doug, nice to see you, man. Which 2 players out of the 22 draft class do you think will go off this season since it's a contract year? Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be real honest. I don't know.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I will tell you my thoughts, and I think they're both in the defensive backfield. And I think Trent McDuffie's going to be worth every cent that he made. I don't think it's going to be close. And I honestly feel like Jalen Watson is going to rise to the occasion because of the injuries and because of the up and down play when he is on the field. I do think he has the most to gain by being locked in and turned on for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get my memory didn't have everybody there, right? I just didn't know everyone they drafted. Will go off. I mean, Trent McDuffie's the only guy going off in my mind. Like, him and Leo Chanel are locks to just be good players. George Karlaftis is what he is. He's fine. I don't think he's ever going to be a double-digit sack guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't think he's ever going to be one. Maybe he does it this year. And you know what? This would be the year to prove me wrong. It would be the year to do it. This would be it. Right? He's so up in arms about it. He's just
You're absolutely right, though. This is the year to do it. And I will tell you, if you have 3 legit pass rushers, and no offense to Mike Dan, I don't count you, buddy. I'm sorry.
Nope.
You do a good job, but you are not a scary pass rusher. Charles Omenihu can be. I'm not saying he is at this moment, but he can be. If they literally have 3 other legit pass rushers next to George Karlaftis, he could go off and hit double digits.
Do it. That's all I'm going to say. We got 2 last ones here. Addicted to capping games. Good evening, Ryan and Dan. Is it maybe time to move on from Andy Heck? No. And bring in someone with a road grader scheme? No. But also, I understand where you're coming from. I do. I understand. I get it. Maybe for us, it would be more of like, we got to change something up here a little bit. But Andy Reid's like, nah. You good.
See, and you nailed it. That's what it comes down to, because, and specifically with the road grader mentality, like if you want to go to more man-power blocking, Andy doesn't want to do that. Andy is a zone guy. Andy Reid's offense will always be zone-based first. He may throw in a little bit more pepper every now and then, but he's always going to be zone-based. Andy Heck is a different story. And Andy might be a little bit on the hot seat now. After back-to-back draft selections at premier position on that offensive line that have not been able to develop. This is going to be the test. Jalen Moore, as a guy that is seen to be ascending around the league, has stood in admirably for arguably the best tackle in football. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like all the signs are pointing up. If he does not become a starter, part of that finger will be pointed at Andy Heck as well as Jalen Moore. So we're going to have to find out.
Yeah, you're right there. And I know that everyone loves the Devin Neal. I understand that. We'll find out more about him on Wednesday. And I guess you're right, guys. Karlaftis did have double-digit sacks the second year. Sorry, I should have been more specific. He's not a perennial double-digit sack guy. I think 10.5 sacks is the most you'll get out of him. The most.
Oh, you think he's peaked, is what you're saying?
I think he's, in terms of numbers, I don't think he's going to get over 10.5 sacks this year. I don't think it's going to happen.
Gotcha.
So that's on me. I should have been more clear.
Yeah, you're cool.
Last one we got for you. Any truth to Jalen Watson trade rumors? I have heard nothing about Jalen Watson possibly being traded, specifically because he's their cornerback 3.
Right now, he's a starter.
Yeah.
I have not. None of my sources have told me anything about hearing rumblings about Jalen actually going anywhere. Right now, Trent McDuffie's going back into the slot. Maybe he just takes your number 1 and takes him away, but it's Fulton and Jalen that are the other 2.
Now it's possible if they draft someone on day 2 that they do trade away Jalen Watson. I'm not ruling that out by any stretch because, again, last year on his contract, coming off that injury last year, who knows what happens with Watson if a team wants to give you something for him. And you're like, yeah, we're going to draft this cornerback anyway. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, but I don't see anything right. And again, I don't have sources anyway, so I'm useless in this situation. But I haven't seen anything else that suggests anything otherwise.
You're not missing much.
You know what? One day I'll have sources one day. And that's what we got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for the questions, being here with us on a Monday. And please, if you would go over, check out the new TDN mock draft machine if you get the option to do so. Would appreciate it very much. I think it's very good. I think it's very well done. You got a couple more weeks before it's all over to check it out. So Ryan, please get better.
Knock on wood.
Over the sickness, because like I said, I was sick last week. I mean, it's starting to hurt right now. Just that tonsil in the back there is starting to hurt because it's been an hour of talking. That's the most I've done in over a week. So we're all trying to get there.
Sorry, brother. That sucks. I want to remind you guys, it's out. I hit the wrong button there, but let me hit this. Athletic Matrix full version. Everybody's pro day numbers are in, and it is out. Version 2 available now. If you already ordered it, you can just go back in and should be able to re-download it. Everybody, draft guide is ticking away. So we're going to have that for you here really soon. I can't guarantee exactly when because I have to crunch all the numbers and get all the pages built, but I'm working on that. So we'll have the draft guide very soon. And by the way, we're still going to try to do the draft summit with the KCSN guys.
Yep.
Their guide came out today. Go get it. Kent and the boys do a great job. So make sure you check out him and Maddie and all their buddies' work. Zach, and I can't remember everybody that actually works on that. Honestly, Dan, I got to tell you, we need to steal some dudes because doing this with our crew, we need to expand. I'm just going to say that. So
yeah, it's not a great sign. Every year we're up against it.
Every single year. But they do great work. We do great work. And we bring it together. If you guys haven't seen the draft summit before, KCSN draft guys and us, we get together and we just kind of go back and forth. I probably drink more than I should, but it's a good time. So if you would like to watch that, make sure you keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you like, sub, and hit the bell. Check out Dan on Draft Network. Check out NFL 33, where Caroline is putting out content. And Caroline, I'm just going to put you on the spot. I know you have one ready. As soon as I can get it prepped, we'll get that out. My draft rankings are going to come out. My rant about Aaron Rodgers came out last week. If you like that kind of stuff, go read it because I'm done. And there's a lot of cool stuff. So thank you. Enjoy your Monday night. Daniel, you get better too. And
yeah, we're trying.
Good luck being Tooth Fairy. Yeah,
it is what it is. Like, just all of them falling out at once is not what I had on the script, but it is, you make do with what you got.
Right. That's all you can do. All right. Have a great night, everybody. I will try to do live tomorrow. If this holds out, I'll be live mock drafting. You guys are making the choices tomorrow night. Have a good one. We'll talk to you then.